How's it going? Xander Fryer with Shit You Don't Learn in College, and today I'm going to talk to you about why business relationships are getting more difficult in the new virtual world. Now, we all know that our world has drastically changed forever. With lockdowns, quarantine, and everything going on, the world that we live in will never be the same. The way that we work, live, and play has completely shifted, gone completely upside down. Now, in the beginning, everybody was really excited because we got to go virtual. And with virtual, there's a lot of benefits, right? We have so much flexibility, so much freedom. I don't have to put pants on in the morning when I'm getting on my Zoom call, and I can just go to work straight from my bedroom, straight to the office desk, right? Pretty easy and pretty simple. But with this new freedom and flexibility came a lot of challenges as well, especially in our business relationships. Now, we all know that relationships are key to business growth and career growth, but now in this new world, in a world where we're more connected than ever, we're actually more disconnected than ever. And so many new challenges have arisen around productivity, focus, and connection to other people in your organizations that are really hurting businesses. So I want to run through the 3 biggest mistakes that people and organizations are making when it comes to this new virtual economy. So the first mistake that people are making when it comes to building their business relationships and keeping them alive in this crazy new world is skipping the unproductive time. Now, as soon as you get into the virtual world, it becomes really easy to only have conversations that are on business topics and being productive. But when you're actually in an office, what happens? You have water cooler conversations, you have coffee conversations, you go grab lunch with people. But this isn't happening anymore. And it's creating this crazy dynamic where we have no real social interaction with people that is outside of the business conversation. And because of this, people are craving real human interaction. So there's a couple of ways that you can actually solve this. The first one is we actually have team members of ours set up one-on-ones and conversations with each other to actually scheduledly talk about nothing about business, to just hang out, shoot the shit, talk about life, talk about their spouse, talk about what's going on with sports, whatever it might be. Scheduled unproductive conversation is actually one of the most beneficial things that you can do, because the reality is people don't care about what you know until they know about what you care. They have to know that you really care about them. And the only way to do that is to have conversations that are seemingly unproductive. So we actually make it productive to have unproductive conversations. The other thing that we do is we do something called virtual happy hours in our organization. So happy hours are a great way to build camaraderie and build the connection between your team members. But as soon as lockdowns happen, there's no more happy hours amongst colleagues. So we actually set up virtual happy hours where we'll actually get onto what we call a wormhole or a Zoom room, and we'll all have happy hour. We'll shoot the shit, we'll have some drinks, we'll have casual conversation about absolutely nothing and all the fun things at the same time. We'll actually play games and show baby pictures of the team members and see if people who can guess who's who. But again, this is just another way for everybody to build relationships outside of the day-to-day operations. So step number 1 is you gotta make sure that you're putting in the time to actually build relationships outside of the business. Step number 2, and this is absolutely crucial, and it's called unplanned collaboration. Now, when Apple first created their headquarters, they created around a central atrium, so all the different business units would have to come through this one atrium to transition to lunch, to transition to the parking lot, to go to another section in the headquarters. They would all have to come through this one central area. Now, there's a really interesting reason why they did this, and it all comes back to forced collaboration. What happens is in controlled chaos, when people are forced to cross amongst each other, it actually forces interactions that might not necessarily happen in an isolated situation. So for everybody that's just working at home, they're in their isolated little bubble. And they're not having these forced interactions, because what Apple noticed is when people are forced to cross the central atrium, you'll get someone from accounting having conversations with someone from engineering, having conversations with someone from marketing, with someone from sales, with a business executive. And it's these forced interactions that end up creating new creative ideas, new conversations that give birth and arise to ideas that would have never happened before. But in the virtual world, boom, we're isolated again. We're separated again, and we're not having these conversations. So the way that we solve this is with something we call a virtual wormhole. So we'll actually open up a Zoom room, and we'll have all of our clients get on this Zoom room and start working through tasks together. They might actually all be in their own little world doing their own little thing, but for a couple of hours, they're all on this Zoom room. So if anybody has an idea or has a question, they can just spout it out over the Zoom room. Hey, does anybody else know how to do XYZ? Oh yeah, I do. You can do blah, blah, blah. And it's this forced interaction across this virtual wormhole that we might have 10, 20, even 30 people on that helps create that unplanned collaboration and force innovation and new ideas. Now, the third and last thing that I want you to be aware of in this virtual world, like we talked about, if you're in quarantine and you're stuck in your own home, you're used to being able to go out, you're used to being able to go to work and have conversations with your colleagues, and you may be able to bitch and moan about your boss and your supervisor to Jeff from accounting. Well, now that you don't get to have those conversations with Jeff from accounting, you're having these conversations with your spouse at home. Because of your shrinking community, you're forcing the people in your life to play too many roles that they're not used to playing. And this can cause a lot of stress on your relationships at home with your friends and family. So the thing that you need to be aware of when you're in this virtual world is that this shrinking community can force you to have conversations and lean on people in ways that you've never had to lean on them before. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you're still having these interactions with other people, because you don't want your wife to be the one dealing with you bitching and moaning about your supervisor every day, because that's gonna get real old real quickly. So don't be that person. So here's the deal, guys. Humans are social creatures. We need social interaction. The more that we can start to get back to some of these social norms, the unproductive time, the unplanned collaboration, and making sure that we have a big community so that we can have several people in our circle to play different roles to help fulfill our social needs, the quicker we're gonna be able to survive this crazy new virtual world, all right? Because the reality is, this world's probably not changing anytime soon, right? We're not going back to the way that we were next month, next year, or maybe even within the decade. We gotta make sure that we're getting used to it. We gotta make sure that we're continuing to build these business relationships strong so that we can continue moving forward. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, go ahead and click like below so that you can let me know. And if you have any subjects or topics that you want me to cover in a future video, make sure to comment that below as well. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can make sure that you never miss another great video.